भवां बोधे स्थितिर्षावतां वन्देऽहं तमशेषकारण परं रामाख्यमीशं हरिम्। श्रीराम जय जय राम ॐ 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 जय जय राम ॐ जय जय राम ॐ। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। Let us sing after 99th दोहा केवट प्रसंग। जासु वियोग विकल पशु ऐसे, प्रजा मातु पितु जियहि कैसे। बरबस राम सुमंत्रु पठाई, सुरसरि तीर आपु तब आए। मागी नावन के वटुआना, कहई तुम्हार मरम मैं जाना। चरण कमल रज कहूँ सब कहई, मानुष करनी मोरि कछुआई। छुअत सिला भई नारि सुहाई, पाहन तैन काठ कठिनाई। तरनी मुनि घरिनी होई जाई, बाट परई मोरि नाव उड़ाई। एहि प्रतिपालऊ सबु परिवारु, नहीं जानऊ कछुअऊ रखबारु। जो प्रभु पार अवसि गाचहु, मोहि पद पदुम पखारन कहू। पद कमल धोई चढ़ाई, नावन नाथ उतराई चहो। मोहि राम राउरियान दशरथ, सपथ सब साची कहो। बरु तीर मारहु लखनु पै, जब लगी न पाय पखारी हो। तब लगी न तुलसीदास नाथ, कृपालु पारु तारी हो। सुनि केवट के बैन, प्रेम लपेटे अटपटे। बिहसे करुणा ऐन, चितई जानकी लखन तन। कृपा सिंधु बोले मुस्काई, सोई करु जेहि तव नावन जाई। बेगी आनु जल पाय पखारु, होत बिलंबु उतारहि पारु। जासु नाम सुमिरत एक बारा, उतरहि नर भव सिंधु अपारा। सोई कृपालु केवट ही निहोरा, जेहि जगु किय तिहु पगहु ते थोरा। पदनख निरखि देव सरि हरषि, सुनि प्रभु बचन मोह मति करषि। केवट राम रजाय सुपावा, पानी कठवता भरि ले आवा। अति आनंद उमगी अनुरागा, चरण सरोज पखारन लागा। बरषि सुमन सुर सकल सिहाही, एहि सम पुण्य पुंज को नाही। पद पखारी जलुपान करी, आपु सहित परिवार। पितर पारु करि प्रभु ही पुनि, मुदित गयो ले पार, उतरी ठाढ़ भय सुर शरीरेता, सिय राम गुह लखन समेता। केवट उतरी दंडवत कीन्हा, प्रभु ही सकुच एहि नहीं कछु दीन्हा। पियहिय की सिय जान निहारी, मनि मुदरी मन मुदित उतारी। कहिउ कृपाल लेहि उतराई, केवट चरण गहे अकुलाई। नाथ आजु मैं काह न पावा, मिटे दोष दुख दारिद दावा। बहुत काल में कीन्ही मजूरी, आजु दीन है विधि बनी भली भूरी। अब कछु नाथ न चाहिय मोरे, दीन दयाल अनुग्रह तोरे। फिरती बार मोहि जो देबा, सो प्रसादु में सिर धरि लेबा। बहुत कीन्हि प्रभु लखन सिय, नहीं कछु केवट ले। बिदा कीन्ह करुणायतन, भगति बिमल बरु देई। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय। बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय। श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। Bhagwan had spent the evening, the night with Nishad Raj Guha, Lakshman Gita Prasanga, everything was done. When Bhagwan was there with Nishad Raj, everybody in the kingdom of Nishad Raj had come to meet Bhagwan. Our Kevat also had come. He saw Bhagwan, met Bhagwan, knew the greatness of Bhagwan. But then when Bhagwan comes the next day on the ghat, he is playing that sweet Leela where he is not willing to speak to him. Looking somewhere, sitting somewhere. Bhagwan loves one quality in a devotee. He says, Mohe kapat chidra bhava. I like that person who doesn't have deceit in the heart. Kapata. Chala is not there. Means he is straightforward. That person Bhagwan loves the most. That is this Kevat. Even though his words are atapate, but Prema lapete. It is soaked in love, soaked in devotion to Bhagwan. We had seen in his mind he is saying, I am Das of the Lord. There are different types of bhaktis, Dasya Bhakti, Sakha Bhakti. But the one in Dasya Bhakti, the main thing is, my Savior should be happy. To keep Bhagwan happy, he says, even if I have to play this Leela, I am willing to play it. And then he has a discussion with Bhagwan. He says, Bhagwan, I'm not concerned about you sitting in the boat. It's only the dust of the feet which I have a problem with. If I can wash that, everything is fine. So with this, he convinces Bhagwan. And then while he is washing the feet of Bhagwan, it's a sight that nobody has seen before. One hand on Kevat's shoulder, another foot up, and all devatas from top, they are offering flowers. This is what Punya this Kevat has done, that he is getting this kind of opportunity to be with Bhagwan and to be patra for his love. That is a great achievement. What Punya karma he must have done. After this, Kevat finally makes Bhagwan sit in his boat, Sita ji, Lakshman ji, and very slowly, casually he takes them across on the other side. This is after 101 Doha. Utari thad baye surasari reta. All of them got down on the sands of Gangaji. Bhagwan must be wondering, now will he ask me to again stand on one leg and wash my feet? He says, no. Siya Ramaguha Lakhana Sameta. First Sita ji got down, not Bhagwan. While getting in also Sita ji first. Later Goswami ji writes how Bhagwan fed. First Sita ji, then Lakshman ji is fed, then Bhagwan eats. Even here, Siya Rama Guha. First Sita ji, after that Bhagwan Rama, and Nishad Raj, still in Maunavrata. Poor fellow. 2 days he has to be in Maunavrata, and he is very quiet. Lakhana Sameta. Lakshman ji also got down. Kevata Utari Dandavata Kina. Now Kevat on this side of Gangaji, Kevat on other side of Gangaji. Two very different people. Previous Kevat was Magi Navana Kevatuana. Bhagwan asked for a boat, he did not even bring, he did not even look back. But this Kevat falls at the feet of Bhagwan. Dandavata pranam, one is at physical body level, another is at mind level. The meaning is the same. We had seen this before when Bhagwan does dandavat pranams to Gangaji. Means he falls like a danda. So when somebody falls like a danda, it means I have offered myself to you fully. To Bhagwan, this devotee is saying, any pairs of opposites that come from the world, both of it are okay. Any anubhava that comes from the world, he says even that is okay. As long as my mind is in you, I am able to go through any anubhava. That spirit of unconditional surrender, that is this dandavata pranam. So falling like a danda, one is at physical body level, another is mind as though becoming one with the Lord. Mayyeva mana adhatsva, mayi buddhim niveshaya, nivasishyasi mayyeva, ata urdhvam na samshaya. Bhagwan says the one who is able to put his mind in me, that person doesn't live in the world. 12th chapter, Nivasishyasi mayi eva, that person lives in me, not in the world. Meaning what? His mind is as though shielded from the experience of the world. Shielded from the ups and downs, different challenges that might come in and through the world. Prabhu hi sakuchi, ehi nahi kachudina. When Kevat does this dandavat pranam, see the bhava that comes in Bhagwan's mind. Bhagwan feels sankocha. Sankocha means he feels a little hesitant. He says this Kevat, with so much effort, he rowed the boat, took all of us across Gangaji, and I have not given him anything. Ramcharitma means charitra of Rama. How is Bhagwan and what is his nature? If you want to know that, it is said we should study Ramcharitmanas. Whenever a devotee does anything for the Lord, what thought comes in the mind of the Lord? He says this bhava. Prabhu hi sakuchi, ehi nahi kachudhina. It might be any bhakta who does any work for the Lord. He says that leaves an impression on the mind of Bhagwan. This part we had seen in Kenopanishad, Ishvara Siddhi Prakaranam. Bhagwan Shankaracharya said, if a person works for an ordinary master sincerely, that master feels so much of love towards that Sevaka. He feels if that Sevaka is in need anytime, I am here to protect. He said, one who is the Lord of the universe, if somebody can work for him, we should not have any doubt that Bhagwan's mind will not melt, or when we need help, we cannot seek help anywhere. Help will come, but all it demands is that kind of seva bhava towards Bhagwan. Prabhu hi sakuchi, ehi nahi kachudhina. Now look at Sita ji. Sita ji is standing right there. Piya hiya kisya jana nihari. The one who knows the heart of Bhagwan Rama. Piya here means the heart of husband. Piya here means husband. The one who knows that is our Sita ji. Jana nihari. Even without Bhagwan saying anything, Mauna Vyakhyanam. She takes out her ring and gives it to Bhagwan. Mani mudari, mana mudita utari. Takes it out, happily gives it to Bhagwan. All adjectives are important. Mani mudari. Mani means the ring. But mana mudita utari. Gives it to Bhagwan with a cheerful mind. Now this particular chaupai has several layers of meanings. It is said, to know the heart of somebody, there are two ways. If you want to know what other person is thinking, there are two ways. One is called as yoga, another is called as prema. Yoga means if somebody can do tapasya, lot of yogic siddhis they get. Just like our sense organs become brighter, like glasses if you wear, ability of eyes become more. Use a telescope, eyes can see more. Like that, yoga siddhis break the barriers of sense organs. Yoga siddhis break the barriers of mind. That is how our rishis could find out or talk about astronomy sitting in one place. That was through their upasana, that was through their yoga siddhi. Now it is not that Sita ji doesn't have that siddhi. She is the abode of all riddhis and siddhi. But in entire Ramcharitmanas, she doesn't show that. She doesn't show her powers except in two places. One place she shows when Ayodhya Vasis come to Mithila Nagari. When all of them suddenly come, Dashrath Maharaj, he said he'll bring one group of people, but go to say entire Ayodhya had come. Now suddenly where will they make arrangement, cook food, arrange for their homes? So remember in that portion, Goswamiji had written, Sita ji through her riddhi and siddhi, she calls them and entire arrangement is taken care of. All the palaces are built, whatever is needed is kept in the right place, in their rooms. And everybody thought somebody else must have done. Nobody came to know how it got done. And second time, Sita ji uses her siddhi. That is in the forest later. When Kaikeyi, Sumitra ji and Kausalya ji, along with Janak Maharaj, they come. Sunaina ji is there. So Sita ji becomes many to serve each of her in-law, mother-in-law, and serves them one-on-one. Except that in other places, she behaves just like an ordinary human being. Even when Hanumanji comes, now she knows who is Hanumanji, but she still has that doubt. She asks Hanumanji, who are you? And then Hanumanji introduces that I am Ramaduta and so on. So that is the yoga marga. If one can develop riddhi and, not riddhi, siddhis, some kind of unique yogic power, they can break the barriers of mind and read others' mind. The simpler one to read somebody's mind is prema. Mother knows exactly what her son is feeling, what the child is feeling, without doing any yogic practices. The same thing is true between any sambandha. And here it is between husband and wife. But the implication of this understanding is more than just two people. What it means is, if there is mutual understanding in a family, and if that family becomes the source of happiness, the individual in the family is happy, and the society at large is also happy. This is our Bharatiya Chintanam. The focus is never on individual. For that matter, in any ashrama, You take brahmacharya ashrama, focus is on study. You take grahastha ashrama, focus is on family. Now, this is more from a vyavaharik standpoint. We should not mix adhyatmic insight also into this. That is there. We can discuss that separately. But just if you take the duty standpoint, brahmacharya ashrama focus is on study. Grahastha ashrama focus is on family. Vanaprastha ashrama focus is on study, adhyatma shastra. And sannyas ashrama focus is mainly on the supremost goal of life, moksha purushartha. But in grahastha ashrama is a unique contribution of our rishis. They say family is happy. Means whatever we can contribute to have understanding between the family, our happiness is included in that family's happiness. In fact, if everything is calm and peaceful, that day our meditation is better. That day we can focus more on our real goal. Mind is more free to think about something higher. On the other hand, if the attention is more on individual, my goal, my life, my priorities, it is another way of thinking. Another way of thinking where we cannot ensure a happy family. Now, within that, there will be so much of sacrifice needed. And Bhagwan Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, the greatest sacrifice we will have to do is of our opinions. Remember that portion, 3rd chapter? Yajnarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Yajna there, Puja Gurudev's commentary, he interprets that as Yajno vai Vishnu, means whatever work is done for Bhagwan, that is Yajna. But in and through that Yajna, the real sacrifice which is done, Idan na mama, this is not mine. He says that sacrifice is of our strong opinions. So for a family to stay together, this is our yajna bhava. And this world works such, Bhagwan says whatever we give comes back in some other way. Here we see how Bhagwan took care of Sita ji first. Remember the previous portion, or it will come later? Not yet. Bhagwan would make garlands out of flowers which are there and then offer it to Sita ji. One of the name of Bhagwan Rama is Shringara Rama. So that name comes from that Leela, where Bhagwan would make mala and offer it to Sita ji. And Sita ji, on the other hand, Piya hiya ki siya jana nihari. The one who knows the heart of Bhagwan, one who can understand Bhagwan. In that, there is lot of sadhana. In that, there is lot of tapasya. Tapasya, there are different layers of meaning. One meaning is keeping some higher goal in mind, letting go of our individual preferences. That is tapasya. And we all do it. If family becomes important, keeping people together in the family becomes important. So many times we have let go of our individual preferences. But one thing we should remember, that is not a sign of weakness. Letting go of preferences is actually a sign of immense strength, which comes through some higher goal, which comes through devotion, comes through grace of the Lord. Mani mudari, mana mudita utari. Kahyo krupal lehi utarai. Bhagwan is telling Kevat, now take this, utarai. Utarai means your fare. Whatever you needed to cross over, that fare you take. Kevat suddenly feels, what have I done? He says, one is, I did so many things on the other side. Bhagwan smiled, that is okay. But now having come here, I did dandavat pranaams to Bhagwan. Did Bhagwan think that I want Uttarai now? Because that is one sign, after the work is done, before going, if the Sevaka does pranaams to the master. That means what? Work is done. Now give me whatever was due. He says, did Bhagwan think in that way? Because with so much of difficulty they have come. And that scene also he remembers in the court of Dashrath Maharaj. When Kaikeyi brought the Valkala Vastra for Sita ji. And Vasishta ji scolded her. That is how she has come in queen's clothes. Means royal clothes she has come. That's how she has the mudri also. He says on one hand, there was Kaikeyi there who did all of that. And on here, I have made again Bhagwan to make Sita ji remove her mudri and give it to me. So in his mind he's thinking, what is the difference between both of us? Kaikeyi and myself. I also ended up doing the same thing. And this is Bhakta Bhava. Different Mahatmas share. We should appreciate in the right spirit. Second, he starts feeling, just before I did Bhagwan's Pada Puja, Janak Maharaj had done Pada Puja during the wedding. And when the Pada Puja was done, after that, the Mudrika was put on Sita ji's hand. And I am here on the other side. When I did, she had to remove that Mudrika and give it to me. He says, what did I do? Mahatmas explained this for this chaupai. Kevat charana gahiyo akulai. Kevat very quickly falls at Bhagwan's feet again. Why did he fall at Bhagwan's feet akulai? They say these two reasons. One is he remembers in the court of Janak Maharaj, how that, or in Dashrath Maharaj's court, how Valkala Vastra was brought. And second is, when Pada Puja was done last time, Sita ji got the mudrika. And now when Pada Puja I did, Sita ji had to remove the mudrika. So means I am giving lot of trouble to Bhagwan. Then he says one chaupai, which is the prana chaupai of this entire Kevat Prasanga. Nata ajume kahana pava. He says, Bhagwan, you are asking me to take this Uttarai. But tell me one thing, what is it that I have not attained today? What is it that I have not gained today? So Bhagwan must have said, okay, tell me what all things you gained. Interestingly, he does not list even one thing that he has gained. He says, Bhagwan, I have lost many things. What are the things you have lost? Mite dosha dukha darida dava. I have lost sorrow, dukha. I have lost the tendency to commit mistake. Means to run after the world. Something or the other, having false expectations in this world. Dosha means that. So I have lost dosha, I have lost dukha, sorrow. And I have lost daridrata, discontentment. He says, Bhagwan, these three things I have lost. But Bhagwan said, you just told that you attained something. He said, Bhagwan, your nature is such that it is ever attained. Bhagwan is Antaryami. He is Shuddha Chaitanya. We don't have to go anywhere to attain Bhagwan. All that we have to do is let go of things which are obstructing us from reaching Him. This in Vedanta is called as Praptasya Prapti. What is ever attained, just knowing that to be ourselves, knowing that to be nature of Bhagavan. Mite dosha dukha darida dava. Now this chaupai has two layers of meaning. One is from sadhana standpoint, one is from Siddhanta standpoint. Let us look at the Siddhanta one first. Mite dosha dukha darina dava means what? First thing which will go in our life is ignorance. As far as Vedantic knowledge is concerned, this ignorance that I need to seek something to be happy. I need something from the world to be happy. I need somebody in this world to be happy. That thought will be removed through knowledge. And daridrata is result of that ignorance. Means no matter what we get, always there is some thought in this mind that right now I am incomplete. Something should happen by which alone my life is complete, that erroneous thinking is removed through knowledge. Knowledge that you are Sat Swarupa, Chit Swarupa, and Ananda Swarupa. So that Chit part, Chaitanya part, that removes Daridrata. That removes this hollowness which is experienced by a sadhaka. Knowing that Atma to be Sat Swarupa, knowing that Atma to be of the nature of existence, that removes dosha. Means first ignorance is gone, and knowledge is I am that substratum in which the creation is superimposed. So what was I running after? In Lakshman Gita also, Lakshmanji said, true test of waking up is prapancha biyoga. I mean, this person gets true vairagya from running after things in the world for happiness. So Sat Swarupa removes dosha. And Ananda, Swarupa of Atma, knowledge of that removes dukkha. Knowledge of Atma is Ananda Swarupa removes dukkha. So three things he has mentioned, right? Mite, dosha, dukkha, dharida, dava. So three things are the result of knowing Atma as Satchidananda. Knowing Atma as Chit Swarupa removes the last one, Daridrata. Knowing Atma as Sat Swarupa removes dosha, the first one. Knowing Atma as Ananda Swarupa removes dukkha, the second one. Now this is from a Siddhanta standpoint. We can also look at this verse from a sadhana standpoint. It is said there are three types of ways in which we can act in this world. The first way is called as karma. Simple karma. Let's take an example that might clarify what these three things are. Let us say somebody is there and I give that person a glass of water. Now that is just karma. Now it could be that this person gets water in a restaurant, gets water somewhere else. But it is just an action. There is no emotion attached. It might be because my duty is, if let's say there's somebody working in a restaurant, he says I have to give water when the customer comes. He just goes and places a glass. That is called as karma. Second way of doing action is sat karma. Sat karma means I anticipate maybe that person needs water and I go and give him a glass of water. Maybe this thought can come that whoever needs water, I will provide. Not only one person, anybody else needing water, I will provide. He says that is sat karma. Good action, noble action. There is a difference, right? Karma and sat karma. Somebody can do the same action, giving water only because, oh, it's my job, I should be doing it. Just takes a glass of water and gives it. But another person has a larger heart. He says, maybe he needs it, that's why I'm giving. And anybody else who needs, I will give. That is sat karma. Third one is seva. Third one is seva, which is very unique and different from karma. It is also different from sat karma. Seva is different from karma. Seva is different from sat karma. What makes seva different from karma and sat karma? In seva, I do the same action. I take glass of water, give it to that person. But internally, the sadhaka feels, I am not serving that person, I am serving my Bhagwan through that person. If bhakti is more mature, he says, I am not serving the person, I am serving Bhagwan as this person. Through this person, as this person, both are different stages of devotion. Through this person means what? Bhagwan is somewhere. This person is here. So through him, I am serving Bhagwan. But as this person means, he has dissolved the duality between Jiva and Bhagwan. So he says, I am serving this person as my Bhagwan. Whenever Bhagwan is brought into our action, that action becomes seva. Now we'll find many people who are satkarmis, but not everybody becomes a sevaka. True or not? In the world, we see so many people who do good actions. So water is an example for that. Means lot of good work will happen, but not necessary that Bhagwan is brought in between, or Bhagwan is the altar. Now that is much better than karma. But our journey should culminate in a sevaka, where this person is doing things, but he really speaking is not focused on the action. He is not focused on the person in front. The focus is on Bhagwan. Is I am worshipping Bhagwan through this action. Now see the beauty of this thinking. No action we can specifically tag as seva. No particular action we can specifically call as seva. So seva depends upon what is our bhava in doing any action. It is not a particular action, but it is every action done in a particular way. This is where the story of Dharma Vyada comes in Mahabharata, where this tapasvi was there who looks at a bird sitting on a tree, which disturbs him in his tapasya. And with so much of anger, he looks at that bird. This bird burns down. Then he goes for asking bhiksha. The lady of the house says, you wait for some time. I have to serve my husband first. He needs my attention right now. I need to serve and come. This tapasvi gets very angry. He says, don't you know I'm a tapasvi? You are making me wait. She says, I'm not that bird. I'm not that bird whom you burnt. He says, how did you know? He says, go ask Dharma Vyada, who lives few blocks down there. He will tell you. Then he goes there. He says, who is Dharma Vyada over here? Then he finds a butcher. His name was Dharma Vyada. He says, my parents need my attention right now. You wait for some time. I'll come and talk to you later. Again, he gets angry, that tapasvi. He says, don't you know I'm a tapasvi? You are making me wait. He says, I'm not that bird. Dharma Vyada says, I'm not that bird. So then that tapasvi calms down. He comes back and gives this upadesha. No action from outside, you can term it as greater or lower. Means even tapasya or satkarma done with abhimana. And another action which might look very ordinary, taking care of parents, taking care of things at home, done with seva bhava. He says that seva bhava work is more powerful than this work. Means we should take that story in the right sense. The main point to show there is the bhava inside matters more than the work outside. That is the main thing. So whenever we think about Sevaka, there are few things which should be coming to our mind. First thing is Sevaka should always have Sevya. Sevya means, what am I serving? Whom am I serving? That Sevya is Bhagwan. For a bhakta, for a devotee, if that bhakta calls himself a Sevaka, he says, my Sevya is Bhagwan. Immediate altar might be that person. Giving water is to that person only, but in his mind, he doesn't look upon that person as a person. Mahatma Gandhi ji has a quote, right, where he says, sometimes you don't know if they are their original quotes or people have just put their name after it. He was telling this to a businessman. I am not doing a favor on my customers. They are doing a favor on me. Means whoever comes to me is my Bhagwan coming in their form. Because they are there, I am able to serve them. So Sevaka should always have Savior. So in that businessman case, his immediate person in front is that customer, but in his mind, Savior is Bhagwan. Second aspect of Seva is Sevaka should do that which pleases Bhagwan. Sevaka should do that which pleases Bhagwan. Now you'll ask, how do I know what pleases Bhagwan? This is why many places they chant 12th chapter before eating food. Like how we chant 15th chapter, right? In some places there is a tradition of chanting 12th chapter. In that the Bhakta Lakshanas which are there. You see the last part of that? Bhakta stetiva me priyaha. Whoever is my devotee and he lives his life in this way, that devotee is very dear to me. So this sadhaka puts forth effort to live life in a way that is in line with Bhakta Lakshana. Anudvegakaram Vakyam. That comes in 17th chapter, but Bhagwan says, Yasman no dujate lokaha, lokan no dujate chaya. Same it is. By whose presence world doesn't get agitated? Who doesn't get agitated in the presence of the world? That Vyavahara one who has, he says that is this Seva Bhava. So first thing is Savior should be there and Sevaka should have Bhakta Lakshana. And the last one is he is ready to offer his Abhimana to the Lord. That is this Kevat, Mite Dosha Dukha Darida Dava. Means after doing Seva, he says, Bhagwan, I don't want anything. If at all you want to give me something, take this Abhimana away. Because Abhimana only brings all these three things. It brings dosha, it brings dukkha, and it brings daridrata. So that is the prayer that is from a sadhana standpoint. From Siddhanta standpoint, we saw Satchidananda. That is how dosha, dukkha, and daridrata will go. But the same thing from a sadhana standpoint, he says Savior has to come in my life, and I as a sadhaka, I as a sevaka should strive to develop bhakta lakshanas. And the prayer only should be, Bhagwan, Raman Maharshi says this, if you want to offer naivedyam to Bhagwan, offer your ahankara. There is nothing that Bhagwan has that we can give him. Or there is nothing that Bhagwan doesn't have that we can really give him. One thing Bhagwan doesn't have, he says that is this abhimana or ahankara. That if we can offer, the prasada that we get in return is mana prasada. A cheerful mind, that is this kevat. Bahuta kala kinhi majuri. Bahuta kala mein kinhi majuri. He says, Bhagwan, for long time, I have only done majuri. Majuri means mere labor. Bhagavatam also same thing is said. If our work doesn't bring love for God, that is only shrama. That is only labor. It has not really done true purpose. Means it is better that we start doing something else and somehow or the other develop love for God, rather than keep doing something which is not allowing us to develop that. Bahuta kala main kinhi majuri, aaj deen hi bidi bani bhali bhuri. Today, Bhagwan, you have given me everything in full measure. This is dasa, this is sevaka telling the Lord that my seva to you has been blessed with your anugraha. That I am not seeking anything more. Whatever contentment I had to get, that you have given me. There is one chaupai that Goswamiji writes later in AyodhyaKand, which opens this line more. Bahuta kala mein kinhi majuri. He says, Kevata Buddha, Vidya Badi Nava. Who is Kevat? He says, Kevat is a person who has studied scriptures. And what is his boat? His boat is knowledge. And how will you interpret this chaupai? Bahuta kala mein kinhi majuri. It says for a long time, I have been using this knowledge only for telling other people. This is how Mahatma Ji writes. Majuri means what? It is helping others. But my life is the same as before. So I've been carrying people across the river in my boat. But really speaking, I have gained nothing from it. So for a long time, this Vidya was there, but it was not helping me. But now he says, Bhagwan, your grace is such, with this bhakti which has come, means this ahankara which has gone down, you who have really taken this ahankara away, he says, with that, this knowledge is making sense to me now. This knowledge is really benefiting me now. He says, that is my prayer. Vivek Chudamani, Bhagwan says, Bhuktaye natu muktaye. Means if our knowledge becomes such that this sadhaka is not putting forth effort to internalize it, change our convictions or life according to this, he says it is only for bhukti, it is not for mukti. Bhukti means it can bring all other things. Name, fame, everything will come except for moksha. Bhuktaye natu muktaye. Except for moksha means except for happiness. Moksha word always you should keep switching with happiness. So Kevat says, Bhagwan, devotion is such, the power of devotion is such that whatever knowledge I had, that knowledge is actually benefiting me now. Abba kachu na tana chahiye more. Now Bhagwan, I don't want anything. I am not seeking anything else in life. This is how Bhagwan fulfills desires. Whatever you have asked Bhagwan, he will fulfill it in such a way that we will not have to ask again. Deena dayala anugraha thore. Your grace is such, Bhagwan, that this tendency of asking itself has been removed. Because whatever is needed, you are already giving. Whatever is there, you are already protecting. And if you don't give something, devotee says, I'm totally fine with it. Nothing that I'm seeking out of discontentment. Now, you should remember, these are all different stages of sadhana. Because next chaupai or next set of dohas, Goswamiji is going to point out about sakama bhakti. He says, if at all we need anything in life, ask only from him. And one Mahatma Ji would say, we do exactly opposite. In front of world, we have all desires. In front of Bhagwan, we become desireless. He says, if you really want to become desireless in front of world. And whatever dharma-related desires we have, put it sincerely at the feet of Bhagwan, let him take care. Because we know our life is such, in particular if we are in pravrutti, in particular if we have kartavya, dharma, kartavya, duties are there. Very rarely do we find a sadhaka say, I have nothing to ask from Bhagwan. Very rarely. We should look inside sincerely and see whether something or the other will be there that we want to ask. It might be a simple thing as well-being of family. But he says, if you want to ask only from me. And that part Bhagwan says will actually increase our shraddha. It will increase our faith in Bhagwan. It will bring ashraya buddhi in Bhagwan. Ashraya buddhi means conviction in the power of the Lord. What happened to all Gokul Vasis, that will happen to this sadhaka. See, 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is just this point. Whatever difficulties come, the first thing they chant is Krishna, Krishna Mahabaho. After that, Leela starts. Bhagwan does something, brings them out of trouble. He says that kind of conviction will come only when we have sought something from him. Means he should become an active partner in our life, in all the decisions, in all the ups and downs. Dina Dayala Anugraha Tore, Abakachunatana Chahiya More. What he says, if I just tell I don't want anything, it doesn't look good. This is Bhagwan when you come back. Very smart, and this Kevat is. He says, Phirati Bahara Mohi Jo Deva. Phirati Bahara Mohi Jo Deva. When you come back, whatever you give me, that I will happily accept. So prasadu mein siradhari leva. Means now only is booking. When you come back, my boat only you have to get on. I will only take you across. Bahuta keni prabhu lakhanasiya nahi kachu kevat lei. Bhagwan tried very hard, but Kevat is not willing to take anything. Bhagwan says, if he has not taken money, then I have to give him something more precious than that. And Bhagwan is karma phaladata and is sarva shaktiman. Means whatever he wants to give, no jiva can refuse actually. That is the meaning of the word sarva shaktiman. Karma phaladata, whatever he gives, jiva has to accept. He says, I will give him something which is even more precious than that money. Bida kina karunayatana bhagati bimala barudeyi. Bimala bhakti means pure, single-pointed devotion he gives to Kevat. Means this is something which we cannot demand. This is something Bhagwan's anugraha gives a devotee, which makes him fearless from everything else. What will happen tomorrow? What will happen here on? He says, if Bhagwan's grace is there, if my remembrance is there of the Lord, there is nothing to be concerned about. That Bimala Bhakti Kevat gets, and Bhagwan goes on his journey forward. Let us just chant this again, the entire Kevat Prasanga, 99th Doha. First Chaupai is not related to that Prasanga. So we start from Magi Navana Kevatana. Magi Navana Kevat Ana, Kahai Tumhara Maramu Main Jana, Charan Kamal Raja Kahu Sabu Kahai, Manusha Karani Muri Kachuahai, Chuat Sila Bhai Nari Suhai, Pahan Tena Katha Kathinai, Tarani Muni Gharini Hoi Jai, Bata Parai Murinaava Udai, Ehi Pratipalau Sabu Parivaru, Nahi Janau Kachu Rakabaru, Jo Prabhu Par Avasiga Chahau, Mohi Pada Paduma Pakharan Kahau, Pada Kamal Dhoi Chadhai Navan Nath Utarai Chaho, Mohi Ram Raur Anand Sarath, Sapath Sab Sachi Kaho, Baruti Ramara Bulakhanu Pe Jab Lagi Na Paya Pakhari Ho, Tab Lagi Na Tulasi Das Nath Krupal Paru Tari Ho. Suni Kevat ke bain Prema lapete atpate, Bihase karunaen Chitai Janaki Lakhan tan, Krupa Sindhu bole musukai, Soi karu jehi tavana van jai, Begianu jal paya pakharu, Hot bilambu utarahi paru, Jasu naam sumirat ek bara, Utarahi nar bhava sindhu apara, Soi krupalu Kevat hi nihora, Jehi jagu kiyati hu pagahute thora, पदनख निरखि देव सरि हरषि, सुनि प्रभु बचन मोहि मति करषि। केवट राम रजाय सुपावा, पानी कठवता भरि ले आवा। अति आनंद उमगी अनुरागा, चरण सरोज पखारन लागा। बरषि सुमन सुर सकल सिहाही, एहि सम पुण्य पुंज को नाही। पद पखारी जलुपान करी, आपु सहित परिवार। पितर पारु करी प्रभु ही पुनि, मुदित गयौ ले पार। उतरी ठाड़ भय सुर शरीरेता, सिय राम गुह लखन समेता। केवट उतरी दंडवत कीन्हा, प्रभु ही सकुच ही नहीं कछु दीन्हा। पियहिय की सिय जान निहारी, मनि मुदरी मन मुदित उतारी। कहे कृपाल लेहि उतराई, केवट चरण गहे अकुलाई। नाथ आजु मैं काह न पावा, मिटे दोष दुख दारिद दावा। बहुत काल में कीन्ही मजूरी, आजु दीन ही विधि बनी भली भूरी। अब कछु नाथन चाहिए मोरे, दीन दयाल अनुग्रह तोरे। फिरति बार मुहि जो मैं देवा, सो प्रसादु मैं सिर धरि लेभा। बहुत कीन्ह प्रभु लखन सिय, नहीं कछु केवटु लेई। विदा कीन्ह करुणायतन, भगति बिमल बरु देई। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय, बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय। श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। उल्डोवर नाम संकीर्तन। अगणित गुण गण भूषण रामा, आश्रित वत्सल जय जय रामा। अयोध्यवासी सीता रामा, आपद बांधव जय जय रामा। दशरथ नंदन श्री रामा, दशमुख मर्दन जय जय रामा। कौसल्या सुखवर्धन रामा, कामित फलदा जय जय रामा। पाप विमोचन श्री रामा, पट्टाभिरामा जय जय रामा। जानकी वल्लभ सीता रामा, जय रघुरामा जय सीता रामा। वानर सेवित श्री रामा, वारिधि बंधन जय जय रामा। हनुमत पूजित सीता रामा, श्री राम जय जय रामा। रघुपति राघव राजा रामा, पतित पावन सीता रामा। श्री राम जय जय रामा। श्री राम जय जय रामा। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय।